So I guess since you have a lot of this stuff, like just from previous projects and stuff, that does go pretty well with it being a very upcycle Earth Day kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, I like that it is. I think it's a fun one for the holiday, especially when we can't go out and like do some of the other things that we might normally do for Earth Day if we are stuck inside and maybe are a little less apt to go out into the world and appreciate the earth in that way.
Right. And to say nothing of the snow that happened just the other weekend.
Terrible. It is a chilly Earth Day this year.
That's for sure.
So I'm just kind of sketching out, and these are like terrible. It's like the worst drawing you've ever seen of what I think I kind of want this to look like. And if you are doing like a lot of layers, you might want to kind of draw out each layer. If you were thinking, if you're going to take a little, like we're kind of blazing through this today, but if you were trying to be a little more detailed or take a little longer with the project, that could be helpful. And a lot of the stuff that's in the background, you'll notice on these, if you're doing kind of a nature scene, it's going to be stuff like trees and stuff like that can kind of give you that vertical background sense of space. And then as you move forward, like different plants can be helpful to do that, and using different textures as you go. So like you probably can't super much see anything at this displays, but you can see my little bicycle, and thinking about putting like a tree over here and some little plants, and maybe I have some wool roving that I think I might use for like leaves at the top. I'm just gonna kind of wing it, but this just gives me sort of a concept. Hi, bud. You helping?
Have another friend join in.
You love crafts? That's Wendell. He is very excited that he gets to be an honorary librarian right now and hang out with us. So I'm going to start. I have some detailing scissors, so I'm just going to start on this bicycle. It can be helpful if you're doing really tiny things like this, like an X-Acto knife is really good too. Get into the details.
So what's that you're cutting out right now?
So this is the tiny little bicycle that I liked off of an old postcard.
Oh, yeah.
So I've managed to pick an extremely complicated one, so that will be fun. Uh-huh. I do have these little detailing scissors that I like.
Oh, yeah, that seems like that'd be helpful for one of those smaller things.
Yeah, so if you get really, if you're going to do like a lot of, do some miniatures and stuff like that, if you're doing a lot of them, then these are really nice to have.
Mm-hmm. I just cut out a nice picture of a peach because I'm thinking of summer.
I love that. Peaches sound super good right now.
Yeah.
I just made scones last night, and got bourbon berry jam.
Bourbon berry jam. Wow.
Yeah, it's very good. It felt very springtimey.
Yeah.
Because we're almost 15 minutes in, I'm just going to like intro to anybody who's jumping in. My name is Christy, and this is Will, and we are from the Public Library of Brookline from the Idea Space program. So we normally work at the library's new makerspace. Right now, we are making our own makerspace in our apartments. And we invite you all to grab some craft supplies and join along. We are celebrating Earth Day today, so we're using upcycled materials whenever we can. So Will is using a magazine, and I have like my random object hoard from my craft closet. So I'm cutting out an old postcard right now, and we're making some little terrariums out of jars that we found in our recycling.
So have you always been someone who's been into arts and crafts and that sort of thing?
I have done a lot. I do a lot of the design stuff at the library. I work with some of the other librarians on some of our graphic design work, which has been super fun. But I never like really studied any of it. I just did it for fun. And now I get to do it for work, which is also fun. It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun time to do a lot of this, because a lot of it like with the sort of maker movement stuff in the US, a lot of this stuff is a lot more accessible than it was. A lot of people are making YouTube videos and stuff like this.
Yeah. So you said maker. Who's a maker? What is a maker?
The sort of like idea of like a maker movement in the US has been kind of focused around all sorts of different, like branching off instead of thinking of ourselves as art people or science people. This kind of dichotomy of who is in technology and who is in the arts. Think about us as creative people and people who make things, and to encourage people who are maybe really invested and like really technically minded to try out something they're not comfortable with by trying out something artistic, and think about how design and art can improve their work. And then on the other side, to lower the barrier for folks who are really have always been involved in arts and crafts, and think about how they might be able to use technology to make their art more interesting and engaging, and just kind of break down the idea that we are naturally like one of these two things, right? That we're like scientific people or we are artsy people.
Oh, so that must be related to I sometimes hear people say the word STEAM, like an acronym, and not STEAM like the stuff that comes from a train, but like an acronym, right?
Right. So that the original push was for STEM education, for science and technology and engineering and mathematics. as kind of a way to make sure that kids and people are sort of responding to like this demand for technologically savvy people in the workforce, and that is super important and awesome. But more recently, the favorite term has sort of switched to STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. So thinking, not sort of separating that part of yourself out, and to think about how it's just as integral to creating great things to have a sense of aesthetics and a sense of sort of the empathetic side of technology and user design and all of those fun things, which I know, like,
so it's like math adds to art. Couldn't resist a good pun.
We have some really good, well, you work on our resources, and I know I love using Creative Bug, and I steal their ideas constantly.
Yes. Creative Bug is great. And in case you're watching along, if you go to brklib.com/creativebug, one word, that will bring you right to a page where you can look at all sorts of do-it-yourself guides for crafting and other sort of maker type activities. It's free for you to use as a Brookline resident. All you need is a library card. And so it's a good thing to know.
And what I thought was really cool, because I use it a fair amount myself, is that the teachers that they get on there are very, very cool people. So, like, they have a collaging class that is run by an artist who worked for many years for anthropology, doing their window displays and doing their like packaging design and stuff like that. And so you get to learn from people who really used their art in a really practical way and who did it professionally for many years. And it's very cool, like people who you would not get to meet.
Isn't it great that we have online resources like this to bring us closer to folks in the time of social distancing?
Yeah, I'm cruising through video content right now. I don't know about you.
How is your cutouts for your terrarium looking so far? How are they looking so far?
They're looking good. I did manage to pick the most complicated bicycle. I saw this really fun double bicycle, and I was like, that's what my life needs. And now, you know, maybe my life didn't need it.
No, so you started without the training wheels.
That's what you're here, Will. We're still rolling along though.
That's great. Mine is 2. I have a peach and I have a spoon cut out. This was a cooking magazine.
Oh, I was gonna say. Yeah. Like, very culinary.
Yes. Our friends at Bon Appetit had a magazine. But of course, other cooking magazines are available, and many are available through the library at brklib.com. You can find out how to access them there.
You probably can't cut those ones out, though.
Yeah, you would do some damage to your screen if you did. And to the in-person ones, yeah. We don't want that.
Please don't cut up our magazines.
Yes. Man.
Okay, I'm almost there. Once I get the outer edge, then it's not so bad. I was gonna do some little paper flowers too, because those are fun.
Oh, paper flowers? Is that so? Well, what's a paper flower?
Just a flower made out of paper.
Oh, and you can make it out of paper?
Yeah.
Huh. That sounds pretty spiffy.
Do some very tiny ones. So I think I will do that next. So that one there me cutting out the tiniest bicycle. But that's pretty good.
Wow. That looks so good.
It's very hard to see, but it is a little bicycle. It's mostly cut out. I like to cut out the frame because then you can see through it, and that looks really cool. But it does take a little bit longer. I have switched over because I did the outside edge with scissors, but I did switch over to a little X-Acto knife. Friend.
Oh, one of those.
So if you're a kiddo, maybe be cautious. Have a grown up with you before you break out the craft knife. But let me grab. I have some paper here that I like. Some fun colors. So I'm going to make. Oh, this one's white on the other side. I don't want that. I want a double-sided too.
So I maybe. Oh, those are great colors for spring.
So, to make a paper flower, I have paper, and I'm going to cut a long little rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was back to say hi. Hello. Hello, kitty. Where did I put my? I have a little piece of. If you have wire, that is extra nice because then you can stick it. You can wrap it around the wire. I know. Hi, buddy. Hello, my friend. But if you just get your little rectangle here, and then you fold down, you shut the door. You shut the door. Maybe that was bad. Shut the door.
Your cat knows how to shut a door. Wow.
Yeah, he's angry about it. Yeah, he didn't like that. So I'm gonna fold the corner down into a little triangle on the end. So you're making like a little folded square. Like that. You end up with a little piece here. And then you can just start curling that around. Just rolling the piece of paper. And I usually kind of halfway fold as I go. So that you're making kind of a cone.
Oh, I see. So it's like kind of rolling and folding.
Yeah, just so that you get some texture with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the end, you end up with like a little rosebud looking thing that you can stick in the grass of your tiny little terrarium.
Oh, it looks like we have Kate, from the manager of the Brookline Library Foundation, in the chat. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Kate, if you're just joining us, we are making tiny upcycled terrariums to celebrate Earth Day. And Christy is making some little paper flowers for hers. Mine are really just made from some magazines I had lying around, in addition to a bit of scrap paper. And I have a feeling they will not look quite as, this really going to look more like a three-dimensional collage piece more than a terrarium, but that's okay.
Buddy. My cat's attempting to pull down this entire affair single-handedly because it is too close to his dinner time. So I want to get some stuff actually into my box. Get my blue paper that I want to have in the background as the sky. And start gluing that in. You could just use Elmer's glue or whatever you have. I have a couple different kinds of glue to kind of trial and error what will stick to the tin.
If you're hearing another cat now, it's my own, who's also getting ready for dinner time. So
I was like, we could feed him before we get started, but then that's really early dinner, and then they will wake us up at 3 in the morning and want breakfast.
Such is a cat owner's life.
You just want to leave? You take the door. There you go.
Oh, I thought of a question for you.
Yeah.
What made you want to be a librarian, Christy?
Oh, that is a good question. So I studied English and was kind of interested in doing maybe like some kind of professional or technical writing. So something either in like working on marketing or like creating manuals and stuff, sort of thinking about how to translate technology or difficult and complex thinking into writing and design that makes sense to people who don't like spend their whole days around whatever technical thing you're talking about, so like the computer software or something like that. And I was studying English and was studying abroad in England and really enjoying doing like literary studies and stuff like that. But it just kind of hit me that I did not, it was too sort of impractical for me. Like I just wanted to, I was also doing volunteer work while I was there and sort of working one-on-one with people with much more practical things, working with some of the couple homeless shelters there, and felt like the thing that I liked about reading and about literature was the way that it affects people and communities and relationships, and not necessarily the more abstract parts of it. And I felt like that is what public librarians do. Is they care about books a lot, but they care about technology. We both work in the technology team at the library, but they care about it insofar as it like helps the community and is helping human beings. So to me, it was a way to sort of bring empathy into that kind of work. It's really fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Will, why did you become a librarian?
I think my answer maybe has changed over the years. Certainly not what I always imagined myself being, but it definitely is. I've decided that I like working with people, and libraries draw people. We always have this image in our heads of librarians being like shushing others and things like that. But, I think down at their core, every librarian, what would a library be without its community? So that's why I'm in the biz.
It's a very social job.
Mm-hmm.
We do not usually get to read books.
That's right. We don't get to read books all day.
But you do get to make tiny upcycled terrariums.
That's right. Celebrate Earth Day.
So that is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. And invite you to make your own upcycled terrarium, of course.
I have a little sky.
Oh, that's great.
Yay.
Nice and blue. Yes, we don't want more rainy skies.
I'm done. April
Finish
showers.
with the rain.
April showers. I would like a tree. Oh, I have this fun craft paper one. I think it will be my tree. Also, I love these butterflies, but I think they're a little big for my bicycle. But there are no rules.
No rules.
This could be a strange future in which they're a very big butterfly.
Yeah.
You don't know. I'm totally free cutting this tree. And I'm going to cheat by not including any of the tiny branches because that's hard. I'm just going to do the trunk and I'm going to put big fluffy leaves at the top so that it doesn't matter.
Boy, if that's cheating, then I think my art's disqualified a couple times over.
I encourage cheating.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's right.
I think it's more important to do a thing and not do it like correctly.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how will you ever start doing the thing if you don't do it? You're not going to go from knowing nothing to doing it perfectly the first time.
Right. It's very Bob Ross. Only happy accidents.
Yeah. And then I did a little paper tree and I want it to kind of pop out a little bit from the back. So I'm just folding the bottom so that I can glue that into the bottom edge of the tin. If you're using a jar, you could do that onto the bottom of your jar lid. So you can be gluing stuff there so that it stands up as you go. So I do want a little bit of hill or something in my background though. Where's my
So I heard that the library is helping do things like make face masks and things like that. Do you know anything about that?
I do know something about that. Yeah, so we have a couple of different teams of librarians and library staff who are working on a few different projects with a few different organizations. So one of those is we've been making fabric face masks that we've sent over to the Brookline Senior Center. So we took our first 50 of those over last week, I believe, which was very exciting. The weather cleared up for us and everything. It was really nice. It was a little cloudy last week. And those were being made. Some librarians got their own sewing machines that they were using, and then we also went into the library building just to get the sewing machines that were in there for the Idea Space program and got those out of there so that they could be used by staff as well. And we actually did one of these craft-alongs before we were broadcasting with the folks at BIG, but it is on our Facebook page. We did a little craft-along where we made some of those hand-sewn cotton masks. And they're the same ones that we're making for the Brookline Senior Center. Another one of our librarians is making them for the local food bank, so they can give them out along with when people come to pick up food at the food bank. They also can pick up face masks for their families.
That's great.
Yeah. We've also, a few of us have gone over to work with the Makery and the Brookline Teen Center on this big project they've been doing with an organization called Masks for Docs that is producing face shields for doctors in the Boston area and other healthcare organizations. And I believe they just finished a little over 20,000 face masks.
20,000.
20,000.
That is such a huge number.
That is a really big number. They have it like down to a science over there. It was very awesome. They have some really cool pictures of the assembly line that they've put together. It's all like a socially distanced assembly line, so nobody's close together while they're working. And it's really, really cool. And they had a bunch of materials donated from different local businesses to help produce all of the raw parts. And then we're also sending to another location through that same organization, through Masks for Docs. We're making frames for a different model of face mask with our 3D printer. 2 of our 3D printers. The 2 big ones. So Ada, we brought out of retirement, which was our original 3D printer. And then Ada's successor, Dorothy. Those are 2 big 3D printers, and we pulled both of them out. And those are running out of staff members' house, making face shield frames and also of the ear savers to help sort of those surgical masks get real uncomfortable if you wear them for much longer than your walk to the grocery store. And a whole lot of healthcare professionals are having to wear them all day, all the time.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I saw a picture where like a bunch of healthcare professionals, they had their masks off and were smiling, and you could see the marks that it was making on their face from wearing them all day.
Imagine.
Ouch.
Yeah. And makes it hard for them to wear them for that long. It is painful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I have relatives in healthcare, and it's not a fun time right now. So, it's like a little tiny thing. And we're hopefully one of these future ones, we're going to be doing those ear savers as well. We're going to be doing like a crochet and knit one that we just got into design for. So, because my crocheting and knitting skills are not super intense, but they look simple enough that even I can do them. So
well, that sounds great.
So, and I'm gonna get another librarian to help out with the knitting part, because my knitting skills just aren't there.
Yeah. And if you're listening and, your knitting skills aren't there either, so what? You can come along anytime. Still give it a shot.
And it's a great little project to give a try, because it, you're not going to get, there's teeny tiny little strips of fabric. Yeah, I'm hoping that the person who is going to come on and do the knitting will show me how to do it, and then I can do a tiny project.
Yeah. No one's gonna needle you for that.
And the great thing about any of the knitting and crocheting projects in general, I find, is that there's literally no, you never mess up irreparably, because there's a thing you can undo, and you still yarn.
Huh. I never knew that.
Yeah. Unless you're doing a lot of color changes and you're cutting the yarn, you basically can just keep trying again. I just got some yarn and I am trying to learn to do granny squares, which I've never done. And I messed up 8 times, and I just undid it and then redid it, and it's fine. And I didn't lose any yarn. And
it's like I like to say, the process is the product.
That's very good. Okay. You did a lot of the user design studies that the library has done.
That's right.
Sounds like a very user design thing. What is that? Oh yeah, what one of my former supervisors used to say. If something went wrong, she would just say, "It's an iterative process." It's my favorite thing, and it makes me feel better when things go. When I feel like things are going wrong, I'm just like, no, it's an iterative process.
That's right.
You just
always
found
learning
out what didn't work. So I actually have a couple things in here now. Look at that.
Oh, that looks so good. I love the scenery.
This is just felt. I put some painted paper. I talked about that briefly last week, but I'm a huge fan of it. And it was something I learned to do on Creative Bug. Is if you don't have construction paper or fancy art paper, with patterns and stuff, but you do have sort of just craft store acrylic paint. I don't have anything fancy. I just have the Target kids paint in my apartment. You can do some really cool things, just kind of smearing that stuff around and creating patterns out of a few different colors. If you use an old credit card or an old library card or something like that, to just scrape paint across paper and let it dry, you end up with some really cool variations. And it just gives a little more texture, again, and dimension, whatever you're making.
Ooh, what's that green material you have there?
This is wool roving. It's very fun.
Whoa, that's very fun. It almost looks like if it was white, it would look like a cobweb almost.
Yeah, so this is what yarn looks like before you make it into yarn.
Huh.
So when you get I don't know that much about making things into yarn, but you can get just wool, plain wool roving like this. And then if you are a yarn maker, you can dye that wool roving the color that you want the yarn to be, and then you spin it into yarn. But you can also use wool roving for a bunch of different craft projects. That's pretty fun to work with. It's fluffy and very forgiving. So this is actually left over from this other kit because it has wool roving at the bottom to kind of cover if you have like lots of little tabby things from sticking your standees up, then it's very useful to kind of cover those. And I'm going in with a paint pen now and just adding a little more detail to my tree trunk before I stick the leaves on here.
That's so good. Nice detail.
Yeah, and I like the kind of layering the more different materials, I feel like makes it look more intricate, even if it's not that intricate. Just that it feels a little more, the more little bits of different kinds of paint or pens that you use just gives it more texture. And bonus, all this glue is also leftover glue from this little modeling kit. So even my glue is upcycled today.
That's great. A great way to reuse. That's what I hear. Frequently, people always remember the recycle part, but they forget about the other parts with reducing and reusing. There are plenty of opportunities to do that with everyday stuff that you buy.
I like it.
Oh, the texture is so good.
And I think I just want like a little bit of grass or something on the other side away from the bite. And then I feel like it's feeling pretty good. What's that? How is your culinary?
My three-dimensional collage is I think it's about as done as I'm gonna have it, and I like it quite a bit. Want me to show it off a little bit to the camera?
Love to see it.
Yeah. So let's see if I can get this. Okay, so we're starting with a nice big picture of a peach that I found, in addition to some strawberries and a basil leaf. And as we turn around, I also got a nice big spoon and some little, I don't know what you would call these, like fleur-de-lis or something like that.
Ooh, those are fun.
And most importantly, on top of the basil leaf, strategically placed a big garlic clove because, again, I'm thinking about summer. I'm thinking about, like I said, strawberries, basil leaf, garlic for like some nice caprese sandwiches, and of course a big nice spoon. So yeah, very simple little terrarium. representing my summer wishes.
Well, you should do like a cook along.
That would be so much fun. I do love
You
cooking.
should definitely do that. We should do a special edition of Craft Along called Cook Along with Will.
Yeah, I'd be so happy to do that. And but fair warning, you would have to like garlic with most things I make. So.
Garlic. Or those really complicated, what were those really complicated sugar pastries?
Oh, quinamon.
How long did those take? 100 years?
It took all day.
So it'll be like a marathon.
Yeah.
Only the most dedicated library patrons.
That's right. That's right. I'm sure our friends at Big would appreciate an all-day program.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could just do it in like 5-minute segments where we just check in.
Oh, yeah. Throughout the day, see how it's going.
Just like, just be like, well, we're still making those things.
That's right.
Boy, are they going to be good, maybe. We'll find out.
That's for sure. So you said you're adhesing yours with crafting glue, is that right?
Yeah, so these kits don't label the glue. But I don't know what kind of glue this is. It's my favorite glue in the whole world, and I would love to buy more of it. I assume that it is some kind of like, maybe it's like an epoxy glue of some kind, or like it's like a modeling glue for that kind of, for dollhouses and stuff like that. And then it's like much tackier than like an Elmer's or something. And then I'm also using, this is like Tombow glue that is like really liquidy and is good for paper stuff.
Oh.
And it's nice because it has this tiny little glue tip. And then
so you don't make a mess.
Ginormous glue tip with like a spreader attachment.
Wow.
So you have options, all the options. I'm going to use this a lot next week when we do collaging.
Oh, next week we'll do collaging, huh?
Next week, I believe, is collaging, right? Yeah. Because I put it in today. I think I'm good. Look, I have my little plant in the corner.
That's so great. It's like a little pocket scenery. Anytime you need to get outside, you can just reach inside your pocket and open up your mint thing.
And what I think would be really fun if I wanted to keep working on it after we're finished is here. And like add a bunch of details. Because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I was only using one of the 2 canvases that I had.
Huh. That's so great.
So good. That was fun. I'm gonna switch so that I can say goodbye. Not with my hands, but with my face. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. That was really fun. I hope you all enjoy making your tiny terrariums, and that you'll join us again next week at the same time. So at 4 p.m. on Thursdays is what we're going to go with. We'll be doing an introduction to collaging. So it'll be a lot of the same materials, but we'll just be sort of smashing them down all on paper. So you can get a full material list on our website, which is at brklib.com/events. We'll get you our calendar and you can find it on there and see what you'll need. You just really need paper, magazines, whatever sort of paper you have. If you have like paint or paint pens, that can be nice too because it goes over the glue really nicely. And then just Elmer's glue is totally fine. Or if you have Mod Podge, that works too. I don't have Mod Podge, so I'm just going to be using Elmer's glue next week. And we'll be doing some collaging. That'll be really fun. And maybe we'll do some more culinary collages.
That's right. It'd be great to be along. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me, Christy.
Thank you for joining me. Well, have a good evening and have a great rest of your week.
Okay, we've stopped broadcasting. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I didn't add to awkwardness by just asking silly questions. I just want, yeah.
No, it was helpful. It is really hard to talk to myself for an hour.
I imagine so.
It felt a lot less long with another person. I did finish it. I was getting pretty nervous at the halfway mark. I did actually complete something, which was good.
Did you cut anything? Was it, or of course you cut things, but did you remove things from your original vision?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna have like a whole bush of different plants. There's gonna be like wire work because I did like wire work and stuff. I did like some wires with like plants and stuff in the other one. Nobody's got time for that.
That's right.
This tiny bicycle took forever. But I think it turned out fun. I like it.
Cool.
I set the bar low so that people feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, and I set it even lower. So it's literally, so I also had like so I used to, for someone I was dating, I made postcards and sent them to them every month because it was long distance for a while. And so I still had a bunch of that paper around. So that's where I got this little fleur-de-lis thing.
Those are pretty. I was like, what in Bon Appetit is that beautiful fleur-de-lis?
That's right. It's not quite their brand.
That would be great. There are some really beautiful cookbook, like cooking magazines that have really, really nice graphic design in them. Yeah.
Good photography too.
Yeah. Wow.
Cool. Well, thanks again. That was fun. And yeah, have a good evening, a restful evening.
No Zoom bombs.
That's right. No Zoom bombs. I don't know. I'll take a look at what the audience numbers were on that. And I'm okay. I'm certainly more than okay with leaving them up. You're okay with them left up?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So I figure we're not doing anything copywritten. And I don't know if the music came through at all on the stream. Probably not. I don't know.
I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't be coming in for us.
Okay.
It would be coming in for them though.
Cool. Yeah, I realized this morning that I hadn't picked out music, and I was like, oh, I don't even know how.
I literally just like found YouTube playlists that were like, copyright free, such and such.
I remember doing a lot of it when we were doing like audio editing stuff. I was like, man, I used to know all the websites with all the.
Yeah. There's another one I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are a few out there that just.
I used to use lots of ukulele background music. It's
very popular for copyright free uke.
It doesn't sound like elevator music. I think that's why.
Yeah.
Is it like you're like, it's definitely not elevator music, and that is my low bar when I have no money to buy real music.
Right. It's uke and the little baby xylophone or toy piano. Very plinky sounding instruments.
And hopefully it was easier to kind of see what I was doing. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough when I feel these projects just have to be so generalized to be able to be done by anybody, because then there's just fewer instructions to give. But
right.
Yeah.
So that's that.
That's that. So then I'm just like, here's me just making things out of random stuff. But
yeah. I'm working on trying to finish some designs for overlays that we can put on the stream sometimes, which will have like an ability to simultaneously have video, but then also have like superimposed things that would have links, for instance, you know.
You could do a materials list or something.
That's exactly right. And then obviously a place to put the text for the links. So
yeah.